Hey people, I'm on this thing. Proverbs chapter 4 continues talking about wisdom and how to guard our hearts. Listen to what it says here. Verse 20 of chapter 4 says, "My son, pay attention to what I say. Listen closely to my words. Do not let them out of your sight. Keep them within your heart." You see, what you look at is what you will become. The principle so far, and we'll continue this right through to the end, the principle so far is that you are drawn towards the dominant picture of your life. If temptation is the dominant picture of your life, you'll be drawn towards that. But if godliness and loving Christ and being a good testimony and loving those around you is the dominant picture of the focus of your life, then you'll automatically be drawn towards that. You are drawn toward the dominant picture. So create for yourself a good picture. Create for yourself a dominant picture. Create for yourself a vision of the future that you would want to be. Dream ahead, look ahead and say, this is the kind of thing that I would like to be. And Solomon is setting himself up as a role model here. Now, I know that Solomon didn't do all that well sometimes himself, despite the fact that he said so many great things. But Solomon is setting himself up as a role model on how to do what I've just told you. He says, just do what I do. Protect your heart. Be careful what you say out of your lips. Think thoughts that will build and not break. Say words that will build people up and not break people down. Say and do things that are going to have a positive influence in your life. He's saying, watch me. I will set the pace. Well, a greater than Solomon one day came to this earth. You know who that is. And Jesus said this, and he was the greatest who ever lived. And he said, I've come to bring you life and to bring it to you more abundantly. And what he's doing is saying, if you could have that goal in mind, have the goal of an abundant life, have the goal of a God-pleasing life, have the goal of a life that is productive for the kingdom of God, then all those things will fade into the sideways because we're drawn towards the dominant picture. And if the will and the way and the perfection of what God's will is for you is the dominant picture, those things that were once such a burden and such a temptation, you know what happens to them? They dry up and they blow away. They're always there. They never go away completely. But when you create for yourself a strongly dominant picture of godliness and a purpose for Christ and the way that Jesus would want for you to look, oh my word, as you start to walk towards that and journey towards that, then the godly picture begins to take shape. Temptation will not last forever. There comes a time when Satan's going to give up on you. If you can keep the dominant picture, if you keep the main thing, Satan at first will not like you. He will tempt you even harder. But after 40 days, he's going to give up on you. 40 is an interesting number. We've used that before. 40 is a time of turmoil. It's a time of warfare. It's a time of when we're just coming under the temptation and the trials of whatever we might be going through. But that's like Satan. When David stood before Goliath, he listened to him waffling on before he killed him for 40 days. Moses walked in the wilderness for 40 years. Noah was in the ark for 40 days of real rain and testing and trial. But if you can sustain the battle over 40 days, you will win the war. As you guard yourself, as you keep your focus, as you walk in holiness and righteousness, keeping before you the vision of God. Now, I've gone like this a number of times because that's deliberate. I need you to get a good focus of what God would want for you, of what things could look like if you obeyed the purpose and the will of God for your life. Wouldn't it be amazing? There's a battle ahead of you. It takes 40 days to break it down, but it takes 40 days to build a new one. So when we build new habits, we take care of the old ones. Don't fight with a bad habit. You're never going to win. You're going to lose, as you have many, many times. Find for yourself another dominant picture. Move towards that dominant picture and watch what happens to the old one. For 40 days, cast a vision for yourself. Look straight. Do not swerve to the left, to the right. When you're confronted with the truth, engage with it, embrace it, and move on. Engage, embrace, move on. And as you engage and embrace with some of these great principles that we're going to read in the book of Proverbs, life will change completely. I hope you find that to be your personal experience. Going to be a battle for a while, but if you win the battle over 40 days, you'll win the war, which will be just awesome. And Satan will probably give up and go home where he needs to go. So that's my little thought for the day. See what you can do with that. Make it real, people. And we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.